Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be on IG Live with you. I am talking with Sunaina today, one of our amazing teachers, to introduce the Rooted in Regulation program. And that program we are talking about it is through an IG Live today. And then beyond that, we're having a free class on March 23rd. So I hope you can join our free class. You can find info about it at tejalyoga.com/rooted. And then Sunaina will lead the program starting April 6th. So welcome, Sunaina. How are you?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Perfect.
Okay, I'm doing really well. I actually just taught a class earlier this morning, for you, of course. And
For our platform.
yep, for your platform. And it was really, really nourishing. I kind of woke up a little bit kind of like tired and hazy. And then after the class, I was like, okay, we're going live later. I'm excited. I'm charged. Sun salutations. I'm energized. So I'm coming in feeling really good. And yeah, excited for the day today.
Okay, I love that. I'm like definitely receiving a lot of that energy as an offering. I'm like in a dip and I need it. So thank you for sharing that. And thank you for being on this team. It's like one of the most stellar teams of um, people who teach yoga that I've really interacted with and had the pleasure of interacting with. So, one of your gifts that you bring to the table, that you bring to the whole world, is around somatic regulation. And of course, you incorporate all the indigenous wisdom you have around yoga and all the like ancestral wisdom that you're receiving and lineage based wisdom that you're receiving. So, I really just wanted to talk to you about this program because the way we've designed it. Um, is 6 weeks this year. Last year was 8 weeks. And no matter how many weeks we get out of it, I think people just like, they freak out about it in the best way. So we've gotten the most like in-depth and fortifying feedback for this program, I think, than most any other program has received. I know. And I
Wow.
love that we're offering it again. And I love that you're able to offer it again. I just wanted to talk about what about like the program is most exciting you?
Well, I just know how much somatic activated healing and somatic dance has influenced my own life. And for me, this offering really comes from a place of internally integrating and doing the work within myself and feeling really, really solid in that, and then offering it to other people. So, for me, what has been really alive is the reconnection that I felt with my body and not even realizing how disconnected I was before that. And so I love that aha moment when folks come into the class and maybe they're a little bit off or, whatever, maybe they don't even feel off. They just feel regular. And then, but just the beginning to the end, like that, it's just such a huge difference. And I really love to see people reconnecting with their own bodies in a completely new way, in a way that has never kind of clicked for them, and having that aha moment of like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize how disconnected I was, but I've been living in this other state. And also for people who are practitioners and who do yoga all the time, who have a sadhana, who have their personal practice all the time, there's also this energetic shift that happens when we're up here, when we're in the upper chakras all the time. There's also that literal groundedness that comes from dancing and being in your body. So it's like either way, either you're disconnected from your body and you're not here, or you're in kind of your higher chakras, your higher energy level, and you need to be brought back down to earth to be able to connect with each other and connect with your body in a different way. So for me, I think overall it's bringing the energy from that headspace energy, from the mind that's constantly thinking, constantly making to-do lists and whatnot, and bringing it down to the heart energy and the anahata space of like, let me lead from the heart, let me lead from my body.
I love everything you're saying. I just want to connect a few things that are showing up for me because Recently in another program that we have, it's an ongoing radical membership called Activist Sanctuary. Mira came in to talk to the sanctuary members about the disconnect between a somatic based approach and a CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy based approach, because one is considered a ground up approach and one is considered a top down approach. And then the disconnect is, how do we bridge the gap, or how do we meet people if they need something that isn't just so black and white on two ends of the spectrum. And what Mira offered was the Panchamaya model. So understanding the koshas and how to like speak and communicate to different layers and levels of an individual that might need, that's how you get the entry in. And what you're talking about just resonated with me, because it felt like, even though the practices are body based, you're addressing the top, right? And
Right.
going into a top down approach. But it's at the simultaneously, you're saying, we're not just going to sit here and talk it through. We're not just going to stay here. We're navigating like the whole full spectrum of being. So in a
Mm,
way, it's addressing like a lot of our sheaths and layers as well. And I find that to be like really intuitive, so wisdom based, like body based, but mind based. Also, like asking people to move from mind to body is like very exposing. But I know that the
mm,
container you offer it in has invited people to feel really held. And
mm.
some of the benefits of this, I think, is that it is online. I know that some people have their qualms with being virtual or online, but I think with this type of space, you can just shut the door. You can be with your group. You can get out of like the idea of other people seeing you, and you can really even video on or off. I don't know how you navigate
Yeah.
that, but people can really like energetically be in the space without worrying about, dance like nobody else is
Yeah.
watching.
No, exactly. And there are so many things that you said that resonate. And also just that we kind of forget how we can connect with the body and how we can be supported by the body. And so, kind of remembering that the body is actually there to support you, not you as the ego, not you as Tejal, but you as the Atma, right? Like you as this universal self that's within you. And so, like when I talk about reconnecting to yourself, I'm talking about reconnecting to the uppercase self, right? And knowing that there's all of these things that are kind of stuck energy. And we're wanting to move through that. We're wanting to let that come through, acknowledge it. And one thing that you'll hear me say all the time in this series, and I'm going to just say it right here because it's so true, that drop the story, drop whatever story you're telling yourself about, the narrative, the trauma, the this, the that. And this may be controversial, take it with a grain of salt, but drop the story and be with the feeling. A lot of times we keep getting stuck in the story. We tell everybody the same story over and over and over again. And when that happens, we kind of miss that there's this underlying feeling in there. And it's actually the feeling that's clawing and telling you, I want to come out. I want to be felt. The shame, the guilt, the anger, the pain wants to be felt. And if you don't create space to feel it, you're going to keep going back into the story over and over and over again. And that feeling is going to keep getting buried even deeper. And so I think for myself, it's kind of trusting that, you know what, I can hold a multitude. I can be in a room and scream and yell and feel all the things and then come back to my center and then, move through it and acknowledge whatever kind of intensity is coming up and say, thank you for visiting me. Thank you for being here. I'm learning something for this. And when we do that, it allows us to be more present in our life, right? It allows us to be present in those difficult situations. And it's kind of that underlying curiosity over judgment, being curious, what is the body trying to tell me? I'm curious as to what's here for you, instead of, oh my gosh, I feel all this anger, I feel all this judgment, I feel all this pain. Ugh, I'm so mad at myself. Why do I feel like this today? Right? And so like two different narratives, two different things. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent point. And this idea that well, it's the phrasing that we hear all the time, which is sit with it, sit with the discomfort, sit with it. But
Mm,
honestly, what you're saying is be with it, be with the feeling, be with the discomfort. And it doesn't mean you have to sit. it,
Right.
you can
Let it
move.
move through you. Let it
You
move
can
through
be,
you. It's
yes.
coming up to come out. It's coming up to come out and be let go,
And
right?
you're
It's like
actually
you,
being guided for a very like significant amount of time, not just 5 minutes, not just 60 seconds. You're being guided for a significant amount of time to be with it so that we're not shunning it, shaming it. We're not setting our embarrassment upon it and looking away, which is so culturally the norm, right? If there's
mm,
something that we don't feel fits into, like traditional, honestly, traditional heteronormative behavior, then we're being told to like, don't bring it up, don't show up with that. You know, leave that aside. Don't make others feel uncomfortable. This is a space where you get to be with the discomfort with others.
right.
Okay.
Yep. And
Amazing.
without the judgment, right? Where we're actually encouraged to yell. We're encouraged to take deep sighs. We're encouraged to scream the affirmations if you
Yeah.
want to scream them. Cry if you need to cry as you're dancing and come back to center, right? So all
Yes.
of that is encouraged. Yep. Hmm.
I'm going to encourage people to see a little clip of practice from yesterday's IG post and then stay tuned for tomorrow's IG post. So you're just going to catch little videos. And then just a reminder that following this conversation, I pinned the link here for the program. It's pretty easy, tejalyoga.com/rooted. And you're going to find a link to a free practice. So March 23rd, we're hosting a free practice. Sunaina's going to offer a full first session, and you're going to get a taste of what that first of 6 weeks is going to feel like. And then from there, the next day, early bird ends. And so if you want to get in and get the class back so you have all the replays, that's the way to do it between now and the 23rd. There's only a few other things I wanted to kind of talk to, and I think you addressed like what people can hope to get in the program. You definitely explained that beautifully. So I think the real extension of that is, what do you hope people will experience after the sessions that comes with them?
So for me, what I would like people to experience, and this is also just like maybe a little bit of a projection, right? Of like no of naming that everybody's gonna have their own experience, but for me, it's to actually feel something. Feel something, right? Whether it is happiness, elated energy, anger, frustration, whatever it is, it's to get out of the numbness of numbing yourself all day with social media, with screens, with this, that, whatever the distraction is, to get out of that numbingness and to literally feel something. I want folks to feel in such a way that it's increasing their clarity. It's increasing the clarity of what's actually going around with the people around me. You see something that's happening, you're empathizing, you're sympathizing with the situation. You're not just turning your head and walking away the other direction, right? There's kind of an increase in clarity. There's also an increase in emotional capacity. That's also something that I would love to see. We kind
And
of
what does that look like in practice? Can you name like either a student's example of what they've experienced, like as specifically as you can anonymously, or what does it mean for a person to feel a change in emotional capacity?
So I had a student who was very, very sensitive to feedback. Okay, so any tiny little bit of feedback that they would receive would warrant a huge reaction. And
Mm.
it would just be like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this. This person hates me. I can't believe they said this to me. And the feedback might have been like, like, hey, could you please try to, be a little bit early next class, right? Like something small like that. And it would just kind of drive this huge emotional reaction. So for me, that capacity building is after maybe 5 or 6 sessions, they were able to not take things personally
Mm.
as much and also realize that not everything was like a direct attack on them, like that personal thing. It increased their capacity to receive feedback in a way that was more digestible and also warranted like less kind of explosive big reactions to whatever was happening in their everyday life. So when they did receive the feedback, it was like, oh, you're giving me feedback. Thank you so much for receiving that. I'm noticing the uncomfortability in my stomach right now as you're telling me, and I'm naming that I feel uncomfortable in my stomach, but my brain and my mouth isn't doing that thing where
Mhm.
it's like, oh my God, you're attacking me. I feel so da 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 da, and going off. But it's a naming, it's that awareness of, okay, there's an uncomfortable feeling. It's showing up. Where is it showing up in my body? How is it showing up in my body? So it's increasing their capacity to kind of digest, right? And in a way that also ties into safety, right? They're feeling more safe with receiving feedback when in the very, very beginning, when we were first working together, they did not feel safe in their body. Any feedback would be seen as an attack. And so that capacity and that feedback also kind of like relates to one another.
Thank you so much for articulating that. And it's striking how there are so many ways to name this practice of creating healthy separation. There's this idea of anicca, impermanence, right? There's the idea of um, vairagya, right? Recognizing passion or repulsion and being able to consistently practice so that we notice where we are creating more attachment with one side or the other. There's the idea that we are material bodies and material beings, and everything is temporary. So, why would we take it to the fullest extreme where it would disrupt us and dysregulate us in that way when it's an obvious circumstance of being a human being, right? We are built to experience the full range of human emotion. So then when it occurs, if we walk in with that understanding, we can actually look at it and say, this is what I'm meant to experience. This is part of what I'm meant to experience. I know it
Mm,
might seem excruciating or it might seem overwhelming, but the reality is that is the point of being alive. And so, how can I
right.
just manage all of it? And then it's also
Yes.
the way we look at, or the way we're told nothing is permanent, nothing is personal, and nothing is perfect. So if we hold these truths when we experience something, we know that everything is temporary and passing, right? And so you're inviting us to expand that window of tolerance when we have daily experience or even things that are outside of our daily experience, and to help manage and potentially even grow. Yeah, I think it's such a beautiful
Exactly.
thing.
And
Beautiful.
I love what you said about like the experience of human emotion, right? And how it's like a spectrum and there is nothing that is inherently good or inherently bad. Yes, there are emotions where if you keep feeding into the same emotion, it is going to weigh you down in a certain
Mhm.
way or in a certain aspect. And so we kind of associate that weighing downness of that emotion as a bad emotion, right? But are there really bad emotions? Like asking out of curiosity, are there really, emotions that we're not supposed to feel or that we're supposed to
Mhm.
shut down? I don't think so,
I
right?
don't think
Like,
so either.
yeah, like if everything is a spectrum and all emotions are there, they're all there to teach us something. And so the question then becomes, what is this teaching me? What is the anger teaching me? What is the shame teaching me? What is the guilt teaching me?
Mhm.
Right? Instead of, I don't want the shame, I don't want the guilt, I don't want the anger. Right? And
Right.
so allowing it to be what's the teacher? What is the teacher?
I really appreciate that because oftentimes we're told like you can just change, you can just control it. And that's really triggering language because it does insinuate that a person is like fully aware of how they're having a triggered response. And the reality is,
Mm,
what you said is like when we feed an emotion, when we feed a feeling, it can get heavier and heavier. The thing is, when we continue to experience a feeling, we have a triggered response to that. We have a triggered thought. We have a triggered reaction to that. And sometimes those things get paired so closely that we are not able to separate that the feeling is the feeling, the response is something I can work through, like navigate a different neural
mm,
pathway, strengthen, and choose a different path. But we need to have that distance to be able to inject our consciousness,
yes.
right?
Yep.
So I appreciate that. And
Thanks.
then your constant reminders during the program are going to be key. And Preach to Birds, Allison, our very own, said that in the practice last year, in the comments here on the IG Live, that it was so helpful to hear your reminders of like let it show up, like let it show up. So I think it's just really moving. I think it's a very impactful program. What's before we close, there's one thing I want to invite you to share, which is, in your opinion, what is like the most compelling reason to try any kind of nervous system reset?
The number one most compelling reason to try the nervous system reset is because it will change your life. It is life changing. It is something that you can take with you wherever you go, and you don't have to have it physically on you. You can put it in your little toolbox of tools for you to do at any point in time, and also we're not fixing anything. In fact, we're not doing this program to fix something. We're doing it to feel something, right? And so
Yes.
again, we're here to feel something. We're here to settle our nervous systems from being in this constant state of doing, constant state of fight or flight, fawn, freeze, fixing. We're increasing the resilience, and therefore you will change your life. It is a life-changing program. It is something for me that has informed every single thing that I do, every single relationship I'm in. It has increased my capacity for bullshit. Excuse my French. And it really has changed my life. I owe a lot to this. And I think especially during these times where there is so much going on in the world. There are wars happening, there's information happening, there's AI happening, and we need each other. We need each other. You're not meant to do this work alone. You're not meant to, go through all of these things by yourself. We're supposed to be in Sangha. We need each other to reflect, to uplift, and to support each other as much as we can. And so I genuinely believe that doing this program will change your life. It will be a life-changing experience. So for me, that's the reason.
I mean, the justification to that is clear for me. I've heard enough students talk about how impactful it is. I've had enough people talk about the long-term impacts of it. Um, there's no time like the present. And I will just close this off by saying tejalyoga.com/rooted. You can get all the program information, some gorgeous visuals. You'll get the 6-week rundown of what you can expect each session to be themed as. And we're having a free practice on March 23rd at 4 p.m. Pacific, so 5 p.m. Mountain. Not Mountain time. And you can sign up for that at tejalyoga.com. So I'm really excited for everyone to experience this with you. I want to impress upon everyone something that you just said, which is Rooted in Regulation is a 6-week somatic journey that is designed for a nervous system reset that is not meant to fix something. It is meant to help you feel something.
That is absolutely right. Yep. We're not fixing anything. There's nothing to be fixed. You're whole and beautiful and just imperfectly perfect the way you are. But maybe you're a little bit numb, right? And if you're a little bit numb, that means you're not feeling everything in the way that we want you to be and that I want you to be, that you may want to also feel. So I am so excited for the next 6 weeks. And I know also that there's going to be a lot of spiritual experiences that I'm going to be personally going through also in that time period. So expect that I'm bringing that energy also to this space as an offering for the students and to receive and also to give. And it really is an energetic exchange. So I'm so, so excited for the next 6 weeks. Thank you so much for co-hosting with me, for giving me this opportunity. It really means a lot to me. I'm so grateful to be working with you, and the whole team at Tejal Yoga is just amazing and really like heart energy, like so much gratitude to you. So thank you again, Tejal.
How do they do it? How do the kids do it?
I think it's
Like
this
this.
one.
Or there's
Or
this one.
there's one.
Mwah. I love you, and I hope everyone joins the program. I know I'll be there.
Thank you, Tejal. Have a
Thank
beautiful day,
you.
everyone.
Thanks all.